Hi, I'm back. I'm going to finish this video about the Josh Tolley show today. Well, my dream as far as getting justice is never going to happen. My daughter is 32 years old now, and there's no children. And the chances of us winning the lottery again, I mean, I buy tickets, but I'm not going to win the lottery again, obviously. And as far as getting the money to even go abroad or go anywhere, it's too expensive. She wanted to have this dream baby. I wanted to have a dream grandchild. We wanted to live happy because some miserable, sick, rotten woman, because she was jealous that I had my own home, that we had our own money, that we had a good life. She felt that it was her mission to destroy my life and make me lose everything that I had, because I did lose everything. I have a house now, but I have high rent, and basically most of my money just goes to bills, and we just live from month to month. And, you know, we're not rich or anything. You know, I mean, since we didn't sell our soul to the devil, you know, we're not going to be in the media's eye. We're not going to have a big lawsuit in Washington, D.C. And these people are going to be able to continue to do this. And they answer to no one. And they can go and find more people to take and more souls to steal and more people's money that will go in their wallet. One of the mistakes I guess I made was he wanted to know why, you know, it was taking so long. My daughter was appointed an attorney in the beginning, a Terry Seifer. Okay. My last attorney, because I had 3 attorneys, and after I didn't have an attorney with Knisley, and flies bothering me, but Ingrid Gufferson gave me Maria Beltran. Okay. So I'm trying to get a expedited hearing. You know, I want to go to court and speak to the judge in chamber with them. But my attorney goes behind my back without me being present, won't allow my daughter to be present because APS tells her that Marion can't be present because the charge is incapacitated person. So she doesn't have any rights anymore. She's a ward of the state. She goes to court and she signs a piece of paper. She types up a piece of paper, my lawyer, that I didn't know it was against the law for a disabled person to have a baby. First of all, it's not against the law for a disabled person to have a baby. She goes and she adds onto it that now I know that Marion can't have children. Well, I didn't even know that I could make a decision for a 29-year-old woman who's now 32 on whether or not she can have children or consent, you know, and I didn't know that that the courts can consent. Okay, there's nothing wrong with her uterus. You know, she could have had a normal, healthy baby just like anybody else, despite a disability. I mean, because people are delusional and think the baby's going to be a freak. If she had a healthy donor, I don't see how that was going to happen. Her attorney won't speak to me. I'm trying to set up an appointment with him. I'm trying to get my attorney to have a meeting where she could come with me and I could talk to this lawyer. He goes out to this Laurel place at this Phyllis Russell's where my daughter's under house arrest, and Holly's there, and my daughter says that, you know, she doesn't want to stay there. She wants to go back to her house. She wants to go home. And he types up, but not the situation at home persists. What situation? Having a baby, becoming a mother? It's perfectly legal. So in other words, he's typing up that you know, it's wrong to have a baby. And Holly is coaching him to say this. My daughter never made a statement like that in her life. Okay? She doesn't want to stay with Holly, who wants to sterilize her or put her on birth control and is going to prevent her from becoming a mother for the rest of her life, who's alleging that this is sexual abuse, which is absurd because the only sexual abuser in this case is the APS. Okay? And these people that are charging her and trying to demean her, her womanhood. Okay? So basically, I said he was an asshole, and I had every right to make that comment, you know, and that's not profanity or swearing, but any attorney that would say that a person doesn't want to go back to their own home but wants to live in some group home with a bunch of strangers because they're afraid that a situation is going to persist where they might become a parent. It's perfectly normal and natural for every woman to want to have children. Maybe not every woman wants to have children, but my daughter wanted to have children. She doesn't have children because of these people and because of her father's present girlfriend at the time didn't want her to have children because she was jealous of the fact that he had a child with somebody else, before she hooked up with him. Her name is Donna Cunningham. She destroyed the relationship between my daughter and her father. My daughter wasn't allowed to see her father for the duration of her life because he was with Donna. Isn't that something? And he wasn't allowed to pay child support. He had to give all his money to her. And they had a kid, and I'm the only one that knows this, but he raised that kid, and it's not his, because she told me just before I left Hawaii that it wasn't his child, that it was this guy Richards. She came to my house and told me. She confessed. So everybody in his family thinks that's his daughter, and I'm the only one that knows that Tiara Bean, whoever she is not Marion's half-sister. My daughter is in denial about it, too. But anyway, so this attorney of my daughter's, Terry Seifer, wants a psychological report on me. What, I got to go take a test? Why? That's what made the problem in the first place with Voc Rehab. And she said that, and you'll have it in 10 days. Well, I went to see Chesna, and finding out about him, his son also committed suicide, like Tolley Raulerson. I don't know how he died, but they don't tell you that on the internet. This guy is definitely Masonic, and he probably has a high rank because he sacrificed his own son. So this guy doesn't give a damn about my daughter. I showed him a picture of my daughter playing PlayStation, and I says, well, isn't she beautiful? And he says, I'm lying and faking good. Well, just because you can't see it, because you see dark skin and you see a person that's not Caucasian. My daughter doesn't even resemble that of an American Indian. She doesn't resemble that of a Mexican or anything. She's brown, complected. In my personal opinion, she looks Puerto Rican to me. And as soon as you say Puerto Rican, people go, yeah, And her grandfather was adopted Hanai, so nobody really knows what his race was, but he was not Hawaiian. There's a little Hawaiian from the grandmother. And, but anyway, he was a bad attorney, so I fired her, and basically, we lost some property in Hawaii that was sold. It was in my cousin's name. He sold it so I could get money for an attorney, and I hired this Brandon Harford. Oh, he lies in my face, takes $3,000 from me. Okay, and he doesn't even do a notice of appearance. They had to hunt him down to bring him in for a notice of appearance. It was like 6 weeks later. He promised me he was going to get her out in a week. We were going to go for a hearing and everything. Because Nicely didn't put a hearing until June, 3 months out, which is totally illegal. Okay, she committed fraud in the courts, okay, because for guardianship, you have to subpoena the court, you get a hearing within 20 days, and the person must have an incapacity report. You don't put Erica C's name on and say you're going to do it after. You can't take a person without an incapacity report. And the person must consent to it. None of this was done. Okay? She just stroked her pen. Okay? And believed all of Holly's lies, all of her criminal defamation and all her perjury. She wasn't sworn in. They didn't have to show up for court. And then 2 days later, a court of the clerk gave Holly, my daughter, basically as a piece of property, like her slave. Okay, she owned her body. What it is this little Luciferian woman has Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Okay, and so does Lori. Okay, both of them do, and they're vicious, and they're cruel, and they're abusive, and they didn't give a damn about my daughter. It was no different than stepping on a cockroach. They were just taking out the trash. And for her to come in there and videotape it so that she could watch it later on, and that they could laugh and have a party with it is just awful. And for the cop to allow that. Okay? I wonder if they have videos including the rights to make end-of-life decisions. Okay? What kind of a state is Montana where assisted suicide by a physician is legal if the person is of sound mind? No person of sound mind would kill themselves. Doesn't work that way. I mean, it doesn't even make sense that such a law would exist. And what also doesn't make sense is that federal funding out of Medicaid is used to pay for this. Okay? So in the last video, I said they have these Illuminati meetings in Billings. What I meant was Helena. Okay? They go out to Helena every few months, pretending to be taking classes, which goes on in the daytime. They get to stay in hotels for free overnight. They're put up. Okay. They get to use state cars. They have gas vouchers. They drive up there at nighttime. That's where the gatherings are. Billings, Montana has a place called Family Support where they torment people. They have these hour visits once a week for people that have their children with CPS. How many of them are actually in the Illuminati, or what happens to these children? A woman in my park who was biracial, half black and half white, told me she was removed from her mother. She was in 17 foster homes in her lifetime, and she was repeatedly raped in several of them, okay, because she was half black. She was married to a white man, and she had 2 beautiful children. And I just, her story broke my heart. And basically, Brandon is a judge, a prosecutor, and a defense attorney, which I don't even think it's legal to be all 3. Okay, he would close up his office at 5 o'clock, and him and his secretary, or whoever she is, Carrie, would be in there working late. And they weren't working late. They were cheating on their spouses. That's what they were doing. He was cheating on his wife, and she was cheating on her husband. They would drive around together. He would come in late in the morning for his office visits after he prosecuted a whole bunch of people out in some little Mickey Mouse court in Laurel. And then when judges were out and everything, he would run out to Billings and substitute judges. Ingrid Gustafson is not a substitute judge. She's a United States Supreme Court judge, okay? Basically, when I paid the money, I had to pay money, but it was only $100. It was reasonable. I had to pawn a ring in order to do that. And in my personal opinion, I got the best one. But anyway, this is not Adult Protective Service, okay? That's just a front, okay? Lori Peterson Yamamoto, when I was dealing with her because I wanted to talk to the supervisor because I couldn't stand Holly. Actually, when I went up higher, she was much worse than Holly, okay? She doesn't have any conscience at all, okay? She has no regrets for what she does, and she didn't give a damn about my daughter. When my son would come to the visits, she was just whacked out, and she'd go up and hug him and go, oh, wait. You know, I mean, he's 5'10". He's 27 years old. You want custody of him? What do you... You know, he couldn't stand it. She'd press her body against him. They'd all come up and hug him and everything, and you know, but, oh, your mother, what a piece of shit she is, you know, and treat me like, and they'd laugh at me. And you know what they would laugh at mostly? They would laugh at Knisley. Even though she wasn't on the case anymore, every time I saw them, well, a judge saw fit to give us guardianship. A judge saw fit to give you my daughter like a piece of property? A judge saw fit for you to come into my house and take my daughter out of her house and take her wherever you want with the police? A judge saw fit? This judge, you know, and we have a fly problem where I live, and they're annoying. They come right at you. And, but anyway, I guess there's no kids. They say the Lord's coming back in September. We're going to be hit with a comet or a meteor. I don't believe it for a minute. I think September will come and go. I don't think there's any second coming soon. People are prophesizing all this. It would be really nice. I'd like to get out of the universe. I'd like to get out of Satan's prison and be raptured into heaven and be at a 7-year party. But while the world is in tribulation, but it's too good to be true. Just like the Josh Tolley show today was too good to be true. Because he says he couldn't ask me questions, but I think I answered everything clearly. And I just wanted a lawyer. And I just wanted to make a difference for America. And I wanted to be like Moses, you know. I wanted to go to Washington, D.C. and just tell the president, let the children go. Not till every child comes home. No more guardianship. No more federal funding. You know, no more medicating people to death. I mean, what they're spending on medications, what they're spending on foster care, what they're spending on bonus money to do these things to these people, it's all from Satan. It's all from the devil, okay? Bill Clinton took away money for single parents and gave it all to these social workers when Janet Reno was in power. He wasn't a good president. The economy was good when he came in, but when he left, just before Bush came into office, it was already gone, okay? You know, it's just that Bush got blamed for it. Clinton was the one that took it all, and Clinton was the one that passed all these laws, and now they want to make his wife the president, which is crazy. And, you know, Obama, in my personal opinion, he's not that bright, and he's got no clue as to what's going on. I don't think he really, or he's got so many other things going on that he doesn't even have time to think about cases like this and everything. But, and they're all over the country. They're doing it everywhere. And these judges are just signing people away, and kids, and they're spending billions and trillions of dollars, okay? Because what Montana takes in alone is millions every year. Like, they're spending $1 billion to do this, and they can't even afford to fix their roads, and they don't do very much for the schools either, because all the money is going to Adult Protective Service and Child Protective Service to destroy people's lives. And I was alone on this. I had nothing. And until I fired Brandon, I had to get rid of him because he was just trying to give me unsupervised visits, and that's how it was going to be ending. And they were going to put a microchip in her, which they did do from Planned Parenthood, so that she couldn't have kids. And I fired him, and I got Elizabeth Hanukkah, and she was back in 10 days because that's what the judge wanted to do from the very beginning. And Kevin Gillen threw up his hands, and Terry Seifer was happy with the microchip and the birth control, because he also submitted something to court which was false, that she didn't want to go home if the situation persists. Marion wanted to go home, and Marion wanted to become a mother. And I think it's absolutely terrible that because one person decides that she's going to consent for somebody that she doesn't even have guardianship on, that she isn't even related to, and that she's going to make decisions for me and my family, and she could just go to Social Security and they say, oh, you're a social worker, you want this in a paper check, how would you like it? You want it on a card? You want it in a bank account? Oh, a paper check? Okay, that sounds good. Okay, I'll just write out Marion Raulerson's check to you now, Holly, because you're a social worker. You know? She took thousands of dollars. We never got a dime of that money back. And when the case was finally terminated, even though they could never do it again, if it wasn't for Elizabeth Hanukkah, the last attorney, going into Phyllis Russell's house and taking her out, even if Knisely had terminated the case, because she wouldn't have went the extra mile for me, I would have never gotten her back. They would have just moved her someplace else, and even if I went to the courts, the judge wasn't even going to look at me. She didn't give a damn about me. I'm 64 now. I was 62 then. I was old enough to be killed. And, you know, they just wanted to kill her, Raulerson, because she's jealous. She's jealous of my name, Jennifer Raulerson, and mostly she was jealous of my dignity and jealous of our purity, sexual abuse. My daughter's virtue is so well preserved. You know, she even followed her into Peppers, where she had college friends that she went to on Monday night, college night. Monday night was $5 for a wristband. But she didn't drink. She used to just drink Coke. And she went there to tell them that they don't need to be going there. And for no reason at all, they told us that they couldn't come back there. Okay? So, you know, and she's calling the police, 911, and everybody in Billings, you know, that I'm some sort of a monster. But anyway, I don't know where they meet, but I know that they do. I know that she's an abomination. I know that she gave it all to the devil to get where she is. And I know that she's bisexual. I think she wanted to make my son a girl, and I think she wanted to make my daughter a man. She wanted to do all this transgender crap to their personality, you know, not with an operation or anything. They're not going to pay for that. But basically, she wanted them to be the opposite of what they are because she's perverse. And Julie or Howard, how any judge would want a report from somebody as seedy as Julie or Howard, and they don't even know who this person is, and this person doesn't even have to testify. She just writes a note and gives it to, and Holly gives it to the DA, and the DA gives it to the judge. The judge ordered it. She used to work for the Billings Clinic. She was a clinical social worker. I don't think she's a clinical social worker anymore. They got rid of her. As bad as the Billings Clinic is, they got rid of her. Because I don't think the Billings Clinic is aware of just how dangerous Diana Cava is in the birthing center. Okay, she doesn't need to be around any children at all or any babies. She doesn't need to be around newborns that are at risk of being removed from a nursery and be given to CPS. Okay, this woman does not need to be in the birthing room. She needs to be in jail. Okay, in Montville, telling me the Octomom's doctor lost his license. Guy should have been given a medal. That's the most fantastic miracle I've ever seen in my lifetime. A birth miracle. The person that needs to lose their license is Montville. And this thing should be investigated on how many people are dying in these psychiatric wards. Okay? And to the best of my knowledge, where I bought cigarettes in Billings, there was a smoke shop. The woman that I bought cigarettes for, after I started smoking because I was all stressed out, told me that Mary Jane Knisley owns part of the mental health clinic and another psychiatric hospital. So what's in it for her? Federal funding. Money. My life isn't worth anything. Okay? Nor was my voice. Okay? And her husband is a principal of schools. A principal of schools? Do you realize what middle school kids do? They're experimenting with sex. And high school kids are sexually active. And you're going to tell me that my daughter can't have a baby? You're going to try to degrade us with sexual abuse, and you're going to let all these perverts come after us that are sick in the head? Okay? And try to say that having a job is delusional? Telling me that I can't work, that we can't go to school? So you can't work. You can't go to school. Okay, you can't have a boyfriend, you can't get married, and you can't have children. And most of these people end up in nursing homes. My mechanic told me that his wife was taken 3 times. She got out of it twice, and they always came back and grabbed her again because her diabetes went out of control. And then they would take her kids, and then he would have to go fight to get custody of them back, and then she'd get out and she'd get them back. And this happened 3 times. And she was 49 years old, and she was in a nursing home. Put a 49-year-old woman in a nursing home because she's a diabetic, and that she was now an incapacitated person. Well, apparently something happened. I don't know. She probably won't live long. But she's all locked up. She's a ward of the state. He didn't seem to mind because she was nothing but a problem for him. They were always fighting for custody over the kids. So I guess, you know, she was out of the way. And I don't think he knew, you know, who they really were. But basically, what it was with Holly, with me, is she wanted to get me out of the way. And she was willing to do anything to get me out of the way, even take my life. Because I know they wanted to take me somewhere and put me somewhere. And if I hadn't changed the judge, I wouldn't be speaking on this YouTube. I'd probably be dead now. So this is what the country's about. The Child Protective Service and the Adult Protective Service are the Illuminati. And Josh Tolley, it is real. But I'm not a Luciferian. And Jesus Christ is my God, my Lord and my Savior. And if I have to, in the last days, if it comes, I'll die for Jesus. Because I'm going to heaven. If they say you can't be a Christian, I mean, I can't stop them from doing what they're doing. I wasn't able to stop them with this. But by the grace of God and by a miracle, even though God is not in the universe, and even though God lives outside the universe, and this is Satan's dominion, the universe is the prison for the dark angels and the fallen angels and Lucifer, They can't get out of the universe. And it's probably the only reason why God has not destroyed man. But anyway, I'm just really sorry that they're still free. We didn't get justice. And that nobody's going to be calling me for an attorney, for a lawyer. That I'm never going to be able to leave this country as much as I want to. I don't have the money. And that my daughter's not going to have any children. It's just terrible. And that we won't win the lottery again. I'm really disappointed. Thanks for listening.